Colleagues, good morning. Um, it is 9 o'clock. I think it's time for us to start our meeting. Colleagues, Nasipu, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you very much. Colleagues, before we start, may I ask that we have a moment for silent prayer or meditation? Thank you. Any apologies?
No, Chairperson.
No apologies. Right, colleagues, I just would like to make a small announcement before we start. Last week, just after our meeting on Tuesday, I was I went to see a doctor, and I was taken up in hospital. I was in hospital till Friday. I had a light stroke again. This time on my right hand side of my body that has an effect on a few things. Firstly, my speech. Secondly, I struggle to swallow. Thirdly, my right hand, I struggle to write, but it's much better now. And my right leg and foot was also a little bit damaged. I walk much better now. I'm currently on sick leave, but um, I will be going on therapy, 3 hours therapy tomorrow again. Hopefully, I will recover 100% in a very short time. So I just wanted to inform the committee on what happened to me. And if I struggle with some words, please bear with me. I will get better soon. And then, secondly, we can discuss this after the meeting or just at the end of the meeting. I will not be joining the committee on the public participation. I'm also not allowed to fly till the doctor clears me to fly, but it seems it's going to be in the region of 30 days that I am not allowed to fly. I think one thing I would like to say for those people who don't believe in our medical aid, we've got a very good medical aid. I had to do a MRI scan in hospital, and that's 40,000 rand to do an MRI scan. And the doctor told me, you are one of the best medical aids. Other medical aids, I've got to write letters and letters and letters to get approval. Your medical aid just approved it. So just something to, if something goes wrong, just know that the medical aid is, although we pay a hell of a lot of money, the medical aid is with the money that we pay. But that said, I just wanted to inform you. So, lastly, um, we will not have a meeting next week because of the budget vote, and people are tied up in other budget votes, and the ministers and are also tied up. So I had a discussion, or Nasima had a discussion with me yesterday on a request. We then decided that we will not have a meeting next week. We will, after the budget votes, we will add one day in. We will get approval from the chair of chairs just to make up for this one day that we will lose next week. So I hope you accept that decision that had to be taken. I'm still struggling. Had a discussion with Honorable Frolic yesterday. We are still waiting for approval from from Parliament for the public participation. He said he'll follow it up. I will, after this meeting, just follow that up again. Then, lastly, after this, we've concluded our business. I would request that the committee elects a chairperson that will deal with the public participation meetings, the next three meetings in the three provinces, and then so that we don't, let's do it now. Then we go prepared, and then the newly elected chairperson for that who can also prepare themselves. So if that is in order, I see Honorable Reddy's got a hand up. Honorable Reddy?
Mm. Uh, Honorable Chairperson, it's not the best of news to hear a member whose health is not good. I'm really saddened to hear that. I think all of us in the committee are. But I just want to say that your health is number one priority. So really focus on that and make sure you get well soon. I mean, I appreciate the fact that in spite of your ailment, you are still chairing the meeting today. All I can say is on behalf of all of us in the committee, we pray and we hope that you have a speedy recovery and that you are well soon.
Thank you, Honorable Reddy. Colleagues, is there any questions or comments on the changes to what we have discussed now? Honorable Ditebe? You are muted.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you and to all the honorable members and our support staff. Chair, let me also take this opportunity to, on behalf of the collective that I lead in this committee, to express the same sentiments as Honorable Reddy. You have had difficulties before, and despite all of that, you saw us through quite a challenging program. You couldn't join us in KwaZulu-Natal, you joined us in Gauteng, and we understand very well the threat that you are facing in terms of your health. And if it were indeed possible, we would ask that you be with us for the duration of the public hearings, but on the doctor's advice, we will have to defer to that good counsel from your physician. And we indeed wish you a speedy recovery. And I'm quite certain that you will, notwithstanding your current health condition, be constantly apprised of the goings on in the committee and the interactions of the committee with the entire citizenry on our core business as a portfolio committee and any other related matter, even as we will be selecting one among us to be there in your stead. I think it is only proper because that institutional memory is indeed very helpful. Thank you very much, Chair, and you may get well.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ditebe. Colleagues, let's then go on to our business of today. First, let's quickly adopt the outstanding 4 sets of our minutes, and then we can spend our time with the balance of the vote 41. Okay, on the 10th of March, colleagues, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, and page 5, and then page 6. Anyone that wants to propose that we accept this minutes? I'm not sure who's.
I move for the adoption of the minutes, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. There's someone that's got Mulu 15. I'm not sure whether that's Sulusa 45 or Sulusa 15, but anyway.
Chair. No. Thank you, Chair. I rise to second Honorable Lelanga. I'm using my phone, yes.
Okay, I see. Now we know it's the longer. Honorable Kobe?
Yes, Chair. I support the first two.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, 17 March, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, 7, and 8. Colleagues, that is the minutes. Can I get a proposer?
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kobe?
Thank you. I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kobe. Honorable Kegakilwe?
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everybody. I second the adoption of the minutes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Next set is 24 March, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, and that's the end of it.
Just for page 5.
Right, Honorable Kegakilwe?
Chair, I move for the adoption of the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kobe.
Thank you, Chair. I second the proposer, Chair.
Thank you very much. And then 31st of March, page 1, 2, 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, and page 7. Anyone? Betty? Diale?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. I move for the adoption of the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Reddy?
Thank you, Chair. I second the adoption of the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, that's not business done quickly. Can we now go to the considering of the committee report on budget vote 41? Tomani, would you lead us through this?
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members and colleagues. Just confirm if you're seeing the first page of our budget vote report. Thank you. So I'm going to go through the report, summarizing key sections, and then we'll spend some time on the observations and recommendations. I see it says Mlu here, it's typing some things on my screen, but anyway. In terms of the comments, I've received some comments from Honorable Ditebe, which I've considered. And thank you very much for that, Honorable Ditebe. We have factored some of the issues that you raised, and that has improved the quality and the factual nature of the report. And the introduction, we start with the money bills, which is the legislative authority that gives the committee the authority to prepare this budget vote, and it outlines what needs to be done and so on and so forth. But most importantly, this exercise is just to check, to test whether the tabled budget aligns with the strategic plan as well as the APP of the department. And further, in addition to that, it's also to check whether these targets which the department has set up for themselves, they are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So all those exercises we have done as a committee through the discussions and so on. And at the end, the committee made a number of recommendations towards this budget vote. And this paragraph, we just reflect the institutions that were part of the budget vote number 4, budget vote 41. And we also highlight some of the priorities over the medium term. Priority 1, which focuses on water services, and priority 2, which relates to national water resource management and infrastructure development, and priority 3, which centers on strengthening regulation to arrest declining performance and improve the functioning of water services systems, and priority 4, which deals with administration and governance. And here we highlight some of the key targets that the department will focus on over the medium term. But most importantly, in this section, what I would like to bring to the attention of members is the issue around the development of key mega water infrastructure projects, which we can see that they are spread across the country. Some of them, the committee has an opportunity to assess in the past year, and some of them, of course, will go to them next maybe in the upcoming oversight stints. And it's important also just to conclude here on this introduction that this budget vote is tabled within a shrinking fiscal framework. We can see that over this year or during the year under review, the budget is going to reduce from 23 to 22 billion. So that is the concern or something that the committee should note. And this is in real terms, the budget vote declines. So this, what it means is that the value of the money is decreasing. So in other words, what you can buy with R1, then it's less than what you would have been able to buy in the previous year. So in other words, the money is losing value. So that is in the end. I think it's also important that the committee flagged a number of challenges and risks associated with the water sector in general, issues around water supply, reliability, widespread wastewater, non-compliance, underperformance of grant programs in weaker municipalities, and also the issue around the municipal debt that is ever increasing, and delayed infrastructure projects. So those are some of the key issues that came out of the discussions on the budget vote. Section 2 deals with the alignment of the strategic plan with the global development priorities, including the national development plan. So in this section, really, we summarize policy priorities and the planned reforms, and then we demonstrate how those are aligned to the national development priorities, medium-term development plan, as well as the national water and sanitation master plan, and of course the SDGs. And then also we reflect on some of the issues around the Constitution, in particular Section 27, 1B, and Section 2, which deals with the right to water. And also we move on to indicate that the issue of water and sanitation is really an issue that falls within the municipal space or the local government sphere insofar as the Constitution is concerned, and that is in Section 156. So that is in general, and we went further also to reflect on whether the budget vote and the associated plans are aligned to the State of the Nation Address 2026, which of course we have seen that the State of the Nation Address talks about the elevated water security challenges, and it went on to prioritize water as a priority or a national priority over the medium term. And then we reflect on the medium term 2024-2029. So this is in general, I think, let us look at this table, which now gives the strategic plan priorities and targets for 2025-2030. So that is the medium term we're referring to. So these are some of the outcomes that the department has undertaken to achieve over this medium term. Of course, there are targets that they do achieve or implement annually. And the first one there is the reliability of water services improved. So that is an outcome. It's what they would like to see at the end of this term. And insofar as the indicator is concerned, is the percentage of water services and reliability improved. So that is the baseline is 68. So that is currently where we are at insofar as reliability is concerned. But they would want to get to 80%. That is the number of households that will have a reliable water supply or water services. And then we see the issues around reduction of unserved communities. The percentage there is a 3, but there is nothing that they will do in terms of reducing that number. And percentage of household access to sanitation increased from 83 to 90% at the end of the term. And the priority 2, which deals with national water resources management and national water infrastructure, here they talk about water mix diversified. So in other words, to increase sources of water, surface water proportion in the water mix reduced. So in other words, the reliability on surface water will be reduced to 68%. And the use of groundwater then will be also reduced from 23 to 21%, and reuse of effluent proportion in the water mix increased. So in other words, the water from the wastewater treatment plants that will be reused will be increased from 6% to will be increased to 9%. So, and the issue around ecological infrastructure, so the decline in ecological infrastructure or condition of the ecological infrastructure will be reduced to 5%. So that is the issues around rehabilitation of wetlands and rivers and so on. So those are some of the activities that they will be doing there. Insofar as regulation is concerned, that is priority 3. Percentage of water systems in critical condition reduced 47 to 32%, and the other issues follows. And the last priority is priority 4, administration and governance. Here they talk about efficiency and effectiveness in organizational operations improved, and the indicator there is number of additional digitalization initiatives implemented from 21 to 5. So in this throughout this term, they will improve. They will do 5, and the percentage of unsustainable entities reduced. So in other words, there will be no. This is a very good indicator which they have set up for themselves, so that they're aiming that by the end of this term, up to 2030, there will be no institution or entity that will be unsustainable. So in other words, all the institutions will be stable insofar as governance and administration is concerned. Section 3, here we reflect on the public sector infrastructure and public-private partnerships insofar as water and sanitation is concerned. This section really outlines major public sector infrastructure programs and selected private partnership initiatives in water and sanitation over the medium term. And we identify some of the flagship projects, timelines, and also some of the indicative costs that have been given. So this section deals with some of the key projects, the Lesotho Islands Water Project, the issues around the Midupe, the Umkomazi Water Augmentation Project, Berg River Fuel Flow Augmentation Scheme. So these are some of the projects that are going to be funded through public-private partnerships or blended finance for infrastructure. Section 4 deals with the overview of 2027 to 2028-29 medium-term financial estimates. This section summarizes the department's medium-term budget framework, including the split between the main account, the water trading account, and as well as highlighting key spending drivers. And over this medium term, the department budget over the medium term expenditure framework amounts to 130 billion, with allocations of 40 billion in 2027, 40 billion 2027-28, and lastly 48 billion in 2029. So you can see that it's only at the end that the budget slightly increases from 40 million to 48 billion. And insofar as allocations are concerned, in the main account is funded through direct budget allocations from National Treasury, and it has been allocated 71 billion over the MTEF. So that is over the 3 years. And for this year, this comprises of 21.9 billion for the year under review. And the following year, then it's 21 billion and 27 billion in 28-29. So you can see that increase, which we have indicated on top there. So if we look at the table just shows the allocations per program as well as economic classification of expenditure. And you can see majority of the budget of the department is transferred to provinces, municipalities, as well as other entities within the budget vote. And the water trading entity, this is funded through a combination of revenue generated from sale of water, as well as some of the fiscus. So over the MTEF, it will receive 59 billion, consisting of 18 billion, 26-27, 19 billion, 27-28, and the 20 billion, 28-29. And I will quickly delve into the table, which shows the allocations per year over the MTEF, and you can see the economic classification there, that a large chunk goes to the goods and services, as well as the interest, dividends, and rent on land. So that is insofar as the economic classification of expenditure is concerned. Then we move on to provide an overview of the allocations to the grants, the regional bulk, as well as the water services grants. These grants are divided into two. There's Schedule 5B and Schedule 6 Part B of the Division of Revenue framework. And 5B deals with grants that support specific responsibilities and programs implemented directly by municipalities. So this is what we call the direct grant to municipalities. And Schedule 6B provides for in-kind grants through which the National Department implements infrastructure projects on behalf of municipalities. So in this case, this is the indirect, where in some instances, as we have been told or briefed by the department, is that where they are failing to implement a Schedule 5 Part B, then it's converted to indirect, that is Schedule 6 Part B, when the department now appoints implementing agents to deal with the implementation. And RBIG primarily deals with the development, refurbishment, upgrading, and replacement of bulk water infrastructure, water and sanitation infrastructure of regional significance. So this is the difference between the WISIG and the RBIG. So RBIG is a regional importance, while the WISIG really deals with the issues at a local level. So the table 3 shows the direct infrastructure grants, that is the 5B, and you can see across the provinces. And 2026, 2027, the allocation there is 3.9 billion. And you can see majority of that, I think it's evenly spread, but you can see it's tilting towards Limpopo and Free State, as well as the Northern Cape. That's where we see majority of our big projects. And you can see as time goes on, but the over the MTF, RBIG will have been allocated 11.4 billion. And the water services infrastructure grant over the medium term, it will be allocated 13.6 billion. And for the current year, it's 4.3 billion. And majority of it, you can see it's in KwaZulu-Natal at 1.1 billion. And that trend continues throughout the medium term. So that is insofar as the explanation concerned around the grants. And then the indirect grant, regional bar are big. The allocation over the MTF is 10 billion, and over the current year it's 3.2 billion, and majority of it you can see is in Gauteng and Limpopo, and that trend continues over the medium term. And the water services infrastructure grant, the MTF allocation is 4.1 billion, and over the year under review, it's 1.3 billion, and majority of it you can see it's under KwaZulu-Natal and Limpopo, and that trend continues. So that is insofar as the grants are concerned. And Section 5, we look at the actual budget allocations per program for the year under review. And this year, the total budget declines, as we've indicated in the beginning, 23.4 billion to 22 billion. So that is in summary. Well, let's look at Table 5, which provides the analysis of the budget allocation over the year under review. And in terms of allocations, you can see that it's only the administration program that receives a real-term change insofar as allocation is concerned at 2.3 billion. And the rest, you can see the water resources management, it's decreasing at 24%. Water services management decreases 5%. And in total, the decrease in budget is 9%. So that is a lot of money or a lot of value that is reduced from the allocation to this budget vote. This is one thing that the members have raised in light of the national water crisis that the country is currently facing. And Program 1, in terms of this program, what follows here, we just highlight some of the key targets that the department will embark on over the year under review. And we do the same for water resources management, and also water services management, we do the same. We reflect on some of the key targets for the year under review. And Section 6 deals with the overview of the budget allocation to the departmental entities, and this highlights some of the roles that these entities play in the department or in the delivering on the mandate of the department. And Table 6, budget allocation to entities. Water trading entity, we can see the allocations over the MTF, it's 11 billion. We've already dealt with this. Komati Basin Water Authority. So this is the entity that deals with the Komati Basin in Mpumalanga site. So it will receive 46 million over the year under review, and over the MTF, it will receive 146 million. So that is the budget that is allocated to that entity. And the CMAs, as they've presented to us, this is their allocations from the fiscus. And it's worth noting from this that this budget allocations, if you look at what they presented and what is on this table, there is a difference. And the difference comes from the fact that their presentations includes the monies that will come from water charges and other activities that they will be conducting in their respective catchments. And insofar as water belts are concerned, it's only 2 water boards that would receive some funding from the fiscus or from this vote, and majority of that funding goes to the Val Central Water Board at 2.4 billion over the MTF, and for this year it's only 786 million. So that is insofar as the allocation to catchment to entities is concerned. And in this table 7, here we try now to reconcile the allocations from the vote as well as from the APPs of the CMAs. And here you can see the budget slightly increases from 2025-2026, and you can see from the vote allocation there, that is what we have already indicated in table 6. And the overall allocation, including other sources, will amount to 1.3 billion for all CMAs across board. That is insofar as the allocation. So it's in addition to 386 million that came from the budget vote for T1. So that is insofar as the entities are concerned. And that brings us to the committee observation, questions and responses. And in this section, we record the committee's key oversight of observations and questions together with responses. What we have done is to put themes or topics as a title for each an observation or a question, so that to make it easier to members as well as to other people who are interested in this budget vote. That 7.1 relates to water access, reliability, and water service delivery. So in this case, committee members or the committee was concerned that the department reports that approximately 90% of South Africans have access to water infrastructure. This figure is increasingly contradicted by declining reliability, frequent service interruptions, water tankers dependency, and unsafe water sources in many communities. And members emphasize that access without sustained reliability and quality cannot be regarded as meaningful access to water services. In this context, the committee asked how the department reconciles reported access statistics with deteriorating service delivery realities on the ground, and what measures are being implemented to restore reliability. And the department acknowledged that infrastructure access figures do not reflect reliability and considered that water reliability has declined due to long-term underinvestment, aging infrastructure, weak municipal capacity. And the department indicated that the current focus is on stabilizing and rehabilitating existing infrastructure, improving asset management, and addressing operational inefficiencies rather than expanding access figures. And this is in relation to the priorities that we have seen when we were dealing with the introduction. And 7.2 is an observation on the National Water Crisis Committee. And the committee observed that establishment of the National Water Crisis Committee signals acknowledgement of the severity of water crisis, but raised concern that the committee may become a coordination structure without decisive impact if not driven by technical expertise. Members questioned whether the structure would intervene directly in failing municipalities and prevent a further layering of bureaucracy. So the department responded that the National Water Crisis Committee plan is still being finalized and was scheduled for adoption. At an executive level, the department indicated that the intervention framework will comply with constitutional provisions and will include water boards, state entities, private sector expertise, professional engineers to support failing municipalities. The department undertook that once the plan is finalized and adopted, it will be shared with Parliament for oversight. So that is insofar as the National Water Crisis concern. 7.3, wastewater management, green drop results and pollution. The committee expressed serious concern regarding green drop findings, noting that only a small fraction of wastewater system is compliant and that the majority are performing below acceptable standards. Members highlighted that ongoing sewage pollution continues to contaminate water resources while enforcement processes remain slow and largely reactive. The committee asked what immediate measures are in place to stop pollution and whether consequence management is sufficiently effective. The department acknowledged the gravity of the wastewater crisis and confirmed that municipalities scoring critically are required to submit corrective action plans within prescribed times. When non-compliance persists, the department issues directives under the National Water Act and lay criminal cases. However, the department considered that legal processes are slow and do not always result in immediate cessation of pollution. As a result, the department is pursuing legislative amendments, including the licensing of water service providers, separation of authority provider functions, strengthening remedial and enforcement powers. The department also indicated that the waste discharge charge system is being reconsidered as a mechanism to ensure that polluters pay for environmental damage. So this is mainly what we will be dealing with during public hearings, or is what the Water Services Amendment Bill seeks to achieve. So that is insofar as that issue is concerned. Infrastructure grants and municipal underperformance. The committee observed that infrastructure grants continue to be allocated to municipalities that consistently fail to plan, implement, and maintain water infrastructure projects. Members questioned why funds are not more decisively redirected to capable implementing agents, such as water boards and the TCTA. The department responded that it has increasingly converted direct grants into indirect grants in municipalities with persistent capacity constraints. This approach allows water boards, TCTA, and other implementing agents to manage projects on behalf of municipalities. The department indicated that this approach has treasury support and will be expanded in high-risk municipalities to prevent continued poor performance. Municipal debts to water boards, the committee noted with concern the continued non-payment by several municipalities to water boards, posing a serious risk to board liquidity and service sustainability. Specific reference was made to payment arrangements and service level agreements entered into by the Machabeng local municipality that is heavily indebted to Val Central. The committee requested that a copy of SLA and payment plan between Machabeng and Val Central must be submitted to committee. The department confirmed that a payment plan has been negotiated, that an SLNA has been concluded following a Machabeng local council meeting. The SLA binds Machabeng to pay 30 million per month to Val Central. These payment arrangements are subject to ongoing review and monitoring, with provincial interventions and administrators supporting financial recovery processes. The department noted that this payment is less than the arbitration council ordered de facto minimum payment of 62 million per month. However, this is a step in the right direction to guarantee Val Central cash flow and its ultimate strong liquidity position. It is equally worth noting that the Machabeng local municipality's monthly consumption of water is 70 million as per the telemetry, which means that at any given time and based on the 62 million, it is likely to pay 8 million short of its total consumption. The department undertook to submit written updates to the Committee on Payment Compliance and Sustainability. Delays and cost escalations in major infrastructure projects. The committee observed that several strategic bulk water and wastewater projects have experienced significant delays, cost escalations, planning challenges, while funding continues to be allocated on incomplete projects. Members expressed concern about the lack of project-specific reporting with respect to delays. The department indicated delays are attributable to several factors, including projects not being bankable, land and servitude disputes, procurement challenges, community resistance. It cited the Mzumvubu project as an example of delays resulting from bankability issues, while the Upper Mkomazi project was highlighted as having been delayed to land disputes and community resistance. The department further confirmed that the funding has now been secured for priority projects and that construction has commenced in certain cases, including Mzumvubu project. It also undertook to submit detailed project-specific status reports, including updated timelines and funding arrangements. Budget reductions in the context of a national water crisis. The committee observed with serious concern that department's baseline allocations, including reductions to the regional bulk infrastructure grant, are declining at a time when South Africa is facing an increasingly severe national water crisis. This concern is reinforced by the department's overall budget reduction from approximately 23 to 21 billion, which the committee has described as fundamentally misaligned with the scale and the agency of country's water challenges. Apologies about that. The budget cuts are at odds with the country's water reality and risk deepening and already critical situation. Let me quickly deal with this. Apologies, Chairperson and honorable members. Okay, and the department acknowledged the committee's concerns and explained that the reductions to baseline allocation reflect broader fiscal constraints and reprioritization decisions across government rather than a diminished recognition of the severity of the national water crisis. It emphasized that water and sanitation remain national priority and indicated that total investment in the water sector extends far beyond baseline allocations, with additional funding mobilized through blended finance instruments, infrastructure finance windows, development finance institutions, and cross-government programs. The department further noted that funding requirements for major infrastructure projects will continue to be motivated through the MTEF process to address priority water security interventions. The department also highlights measures being implemented to mitigate the impact of reduced baselines, including improved expenditure efficiency, tighter prioritization of high-impact projects, strengthened project planning and management, and targeted support to municipalities, particularly to address non-revenue water and infrastructure failures. While acknowledging the constraints posed by budget reductions, the department reaffirmed its commitment to working with National Treasury and other partners to secure sustainable financing solutions and it showed that critical water and sanitation interventions continue despite challenging fiscal environment. Governance and relevance of CMAs. A view was raised regarding the continued existence of CMAs as a separate entity, questioning whether their functions could be absorbed into water boards to avoid duplication of structures and reduce administrative costs, and that maintaining separate boards, management structures, and staffing components may constitute an inefficient use of public resources. The minister responded that CMAs and water boards have distinct mandates as defined in National Water Act, and that integration of these entities is not permissible under the current legislative framework. The minister emphasized that the CMAs were established based on functional differences in water resource management and cannot be merged without legislative amendment. The department elaborated further that the CMA decentralize water resource management and strengthen governance at catchment level by shifting responsibility from centralized system to localized institutions. CMAs enable more responsive, context-specific management of water resources. They are mandated to protect, use, develop, conserve, manage, and control water resources within a designated water management area. Their core functions include monitoring water quality, regulating water use, promoting conservation and demand management, facilitating water use authorizations, and supporting integrated water resource management in collaboration with municipalities and other stakeholders. Financial sustainability of CMAs. The committee expressed concern regarding the financial sustainability of CMAs, noting their continued reliance on augmentation funding from fiscus and the slow progress towards becoming self-sustaining entities. Members highlighted risks associated with poor revenue collection, particularly from municipalities, and questioned the long-term viability of the current funding model. The department acknowledged that CMAs are still in a development stage and are expected over time to transition toward financial sustainability through water resource management charges and waste discharge levies. However, the department indicated that significant challenges remain, including non-payment by municipalities, tariffs that are not fully cost-reflective, and incomplete implementation of pollution charges. The department further confirmed that financial sustainability plans are being developed and that government support will continue in the short to medium term to ensure stability of these entities. 7.10, administration related to activities as key cost drivers. The committee noted with concern the high levels of expenditure on administrative components, particularly employee costs, office rentals, board-related expenses. Members highlighted instances where rental expenditure reached substantial levels and questioned whether these costs are aligned with the core mandate of water resource management. In response, CMAs indicated that measures are being implemented to reduce expenditure, including downsizing office space, introducing remote working arrangements, and exploring opportunities for shared accommodation with the department. The department further confirmed that consolidation of office space is under consideration, subject to finalization of staff transfer processes from department to the CMAs. Human resources and organizational capacity in CMAs. The committee raised concerns regarding the high proportion of expenditure allocated to employee costs relative to operational delivery and project implementation. Members questioned whether CMAs are appropriately structured or whether they are overly administrative in nature, potentially detracting from their core technical functions. CMAs responded that the nature of their mandate requires a highly specialized technical personnel, particularly in water resource management, and that these skills are costly to retain. The entities further indicated that organizational restructuring processes have been undertaken to improve efficiency, reduce duplication, and align staffing with strategic priorities. Water quality monitoring and enforcement. The committee expressed deep concern regarding ongoing water pollution, particularly from wastewater treatment failures at municipal level, questioned the effectiveness of enforcement actions undertaken by CMAs. Members highlighted cases where pollution incidents were not responded to within required timeframes and emphasized the need for stronger consequences against polluters. The department acknowledged that water pollution remains a systematic challenge and confirmed that CMAs are empowered to issue directives and initiate legal action against non-compliant entities. However, the department considered that enforcement processes are often slow and that CMAs cannot directly address failing municipality infrastructure, which remains the responsibility of municipalities. The department indicated that the broad legislative and institutional reforms are being pursued to strengthen accountability and improve wastewater management outcomes. Performance targets and service delivery. The committee noted weaknesses in operational performance, including low compliance levels, delayed responses to pollution incidents, limited enforcement capacity. I think this one it's a repetition. No, it's not a repetition. It's a different question. Members expressed concern that targets such as an 80% of compliance or response rate for enforcement action taken against non-compliant water users may not be sufficiently ambitious given the severity of water security challenges. The department responded that the current targets have been standardized across CMAs to allow for practical implementation, particularly where incidences occur late in the financial year. The department further indicated that performance targets will be progressively strengthened as capacity improves and that resources and systems are being introduced to enhance operational efficiency. Deployment of artificial intelligence technologies in management of water resources. The need for improved monitoring systems and the utilization of advanced technologies, including artificial intelligence, to better track pollution, enforce compliance, and measure impact was highlighted. It was further emphasized that data collected through monitoring mechanisms should be systematically analyzed to strengthen decision-making and enhance accountability. CMS reported that they are currently using tools such as drones, satellite data, water quality monitoring systems. My battery is slow. CMS and are working with the research institution to improve data collection and analysis. However, they acknowledge that use of advanced analytics and integrated systems remains limited, and that further investment is required to fully leverage technology for water resource management. 7.15 Transformation and equity in water use allocation. The committee noted the ongoing efforts to support historically disadvantaged individuals in accessing water resources, but raised concern about the pace of transformation, particularly in areas where existing users retain significant allocations. The department indicated that mechanisms such as compulsory licensing and targeted support programs are in place to address historical imbalances. In addition, financial relief measures have been introduced, including phased payment structures for disadvantaged users to facilitate broader participation in the water sector. Intergovernmental coordination for sustainable water resource management. The committee emphasized that persistent failures in municipal wastewater infrastructure continue to undermine the effectiveness of CMAs and the overall water management systems. Members highlighted that fragmented responsibilities across spheres of government contribute to ongoing challenges in managing pollution and water quality. The department acknowledged these challenges and confirmed that interventions are being implemented, including infrastructure upgrades, partnership with water boards, reforms through pending legislation, such as the Water Services Amendment Bill. The department stressed that improved coordination across all spheres of government will be critical to addressing systematic challenges in the water sector. Those are the observations, and now I will delve into the recommendations. And this section sets out committee recommendations and reporting timelines to strengthen execution and accountability across the water and sanitation sector. And having considered the budget vote for 2-1 annual performance plans of the Department of Water and Sanitation and its entities, the committee makes the following recommendations to the Minister. 8.1, that the department should provide a detailed report within 14 days on the status, timelines, and implementation progress of major water infrastructure projects, including but not limited to Lesotho Islands Water Phase 2 Mzimvubu Water Project, Mkolo Crocodile Water Augmentation Project, Umkomazi Water Project. The report on delayed projects should outline cost overruns, causes of delays, and corrective actions taken. 8.2, that the department should provide the committee with detailed information on grant allocations converted from direct to indirect grants, including project progress, implementing agents, and performance outcomes across municipalities within 14 days. That the department should provide within 14 days a full breakdown of funding flows across the water sector, including grants, blended finance, and other funding streams, to give the committee a complete picture of available resources and expenditure in light of the current budget reduction. 8.4, that the department should provide quarterly progress reports on municipalities under interventions, Section 3 and Section 139, including payment plans, compliance with service level agreements, and debt repayment to water boards, particularly those with high levels of indebtedness. 8.5, the department should strengthen and report on enforcement mechanisms against non-compliant municipalities, including progress on notices, directives, criminal cases, and measures to ensure immediate mitigation of ongoing pollution by 30th June 2026. That the department improve monitoring and evaluation of National Water Resource Strategy Edition 3 by reporting not only on monitored indicators, but also on measurable impact and outcomes prior to 2030. This should be clearly reported in the annual report throughout the medium term. 8.7, that the department should engage with relevant stakeholders to strengthen coordination between national, provincial, and municipal planning frameworks, including water service development plans, integrated development plans, and report back on measures to address misalignment within 90 days. That the department should provide a report on the National Water Crisis Committee, including its composition, implementation plan, and timelines for interventions in municipalities by 30 June 2026. 8.9, that all CMAs should submit in writing within 14 days a detailed report to the committee on total board governance costs, number of board or committee meetings held, a full breakdown of governance and board-related expenditure. That the VAN CMA should submit a comprehensive operational annual performance plan scorecard, including baseline performance, current estimates, future targets to the committee within 14 days. That the IUCMA governance and board expenditure meeting costs, that is in relation to IUCMA, and Limpopo Olifants CMA staff composition, technical and admin cost split, expenditure structure, and for Pongola, revenue collection and debt recovery operations, provide additional financial and operational breakdowns, including staff composition, technical versus administrative expenditure, and other cost structures to the committee within 14 days. That the department should provide a detailed report to the committee on the status of the intervention at Umfuleni local municipality, including progress on infrastructure upgrades, timelines, expected outcomes in reducing sewage pollution within 14 days. 8.13, that the department should provide a BS4 dam status report, including interventions undertaken, progress made, and measures in place to address pollution and water quality challenges by 30th June 2026. That all CMAs should submit to the committee within 14 days their revenue collection, debt recovery strategies, including measures to address non-payment by municipalities, and the use of debt collection and the mechanisms used or planned. A report to be considered. Thank you, Chairperson and honorable members. That is the budget report of the committee.
Thank you very much, Tumani. Thank you for your hard work compiling this report. And also thank you to members that has made suggestions and recommendations to be added in this report. Is there any comments on this report? Honourable Reddy?
Thank you, Chairperson. Am I audible? Can you hear me? Thank you very much. All right. Let me begin by thanking Tumani for that presentation and make it quite clear that as MK Party, we do appreciate the attempts that are made as outlined in the recommendations of the report. However, Chairperson, the measures do not begin to address the scale of the crisis that is enveloping our country. While we note this report, we express our concerns and we will reserve our final position for the debate. I will be failing in my duty if I did not explain to my colleagues why we have such reservations. Chairperson, irrespective of the recommendations, we are losing close to half of our treated water through leaks, neglect, and poor maintenance. This is a fact. It's not a mystery. We all know about it. It is documented and it is experienced by our people daily. And yet, what do we find? Year after year, we continue to direct resources into systems that are clearly not functioning. I want to use a simple example. If your car is broken and it cannot move, do we continue filling the tank with fuel? Now that the fuel prices are going up, I think we'll be thinking twice about putting fuel in a car that cannot move. What we will do is we'll first repair what is broken. And we also need to confront a very difficult truth. Where water is scarce, temporary measures are introduced. And where those measures persist, interests begin to form. Think about what I'm saying. Over time, what was meant to be a solution has become part of the problem. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. Water tank is a classic example. If there are no consequences for failure, then failure is going to continue. Chairperson, it is clear that the current approach is not delivering the results our people deserve. We therefore need a change in direction. And as the MK Party, what we are proposing is that we should be looking at capable institutions like some of our water boards that should become empowered to implement infrastructure. Resources must be protected and used for the intended purpose. And where systems fail, there must be decisive intervention. Water cannot remain in the hands of institutions that have demonstrated time and time again that they are unable to deliver. We also hold a firm view that water is not simply a municipal service. It is a national resource, central to the dignity, the health, and the development of our people. Its management must reflect that importance. Honorable Chairperson, we must rebuild capacity in the sector. We must bring in skills. We must train our young people. We must restore professionalism in this system, because without the necessary expertise, no policy, no plan, no recommendation, and no budget is going to succeed. And before I conclude, let me acknowledge the officials, Tomani in particular, who have worked on this report. We appreciate the effort that goes into these processes, but we must also say this very clearly. As the MK Party, we are not here to speak for reports. We are here to be the voice of our communities. And the message from our people is simple. They want water that flows. They want it today. Systems that work and leadership that delivers. I mean, just this weekend, I had already calls from 3 different areas. People telling me for weeks they have no water. This vote in its current form, Chairperson, does not give us the assurance that the necessary changes will be made, that water will once again flow into people's taps. The MK Party cannot support a path that continues to produce the same outcomes. We stand for a future where water flows reliably to every home, where dignity is restored, and where leadership is measured by delivery. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honourable Reddy. Honourable Moore.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'd also like to start by just saying a big thank you to Tamani for the extensive report. There's a lot of our concerns are very well captured, and I think there are a great number of concerns, and I think shared amongst all the parties in this committee around the viability in the sector. But Chair, I'd like to say that we're going to support the report and its recommendations, particularly the focus on major infrastructure delays, municipal debt to water boards, grant performance, wastewater pollution, and the National Water Crisis Committee, as well as the financial sustainability of catchment management agencies. Chairperson, I say this set of recommendations is one of our broadest and most progressive that we've had as a committee. We're asking a lot. However, I have to say that I believe the committee must ensure these recommendations do not become routine reporting exercises. The department must provide measurable, project-specific, and municipally specific information with the facts, timelines, costs, responsible parties, and consequences where there is failure. That's something we can do to make a difference as a committee, Chairperson, because the country is facing a water and sanitation crisis, and our oversight must match that urgency. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honourable Ditebe.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you and honourable members once again, and everyone on the platform. Let me also join the rest of the colleagues in heartily thanking our very hardworking content advisor and everybody else that supports him in a comprehensive report, which captures the views of the majority of members of this committee. One of the functions of Parliament Chairperson, as per the 2020 review, is to ensure that we produce legislation. That legislation is obviously against the background of a particular policy framework, and over the decades we know we have seen how that has panned out, and a lot of that has indeed been quite progressive. The real challenge lies all the time in the extent to which the progressive nature, extent of that policy as expressed through legislation is indeed translated into actual deliverables to bring about a real world impact or change in people's lives. Some major achievements have been scored, and there have been some regressions. And Chairperson, this committee, as you know, will also be going out to a number of provinces on a public participation crusade, if one may put it that way. Again, one of the functions of Parliament. But most importantly, Chairperson, one of the functions of Parliament is to ensure that we, on the basis of data, information, intelligence available or at our disposal, we use that to demand answers from the executive, and we do that quite succinctly and in a very detailed, comprehensive manner in the set of recommendations. And those recommendations and resolutions contained in this report are themselves underpinned by the aforegoing section of the entire text of this report. And that, as I said earlier, captures the views of the majority of members here. So we are quite happy. I'd like to, Chairperson, having said that, just refer, it's a slightly cosmetic thing, 8.4, where reference is made to Section 63 and Section 139. To anyone that doesn't quite know which specific piece of legislation has been referred to here, I think if we could just be specific, we can the Water Services Acts, Section 63, and the Constitution's Section 139, because those are the sections that are being referenced here. As you know, the context there, Chairperson, is that if Section 63, rather the Section 60 Act, must find expression. It must be against the backdrop of an intervention in terms of Section 139, be it subsection 5, which applies to provincial intervention, in some instances court-ordered, as is the case in Machabeng, or in terms of Section 139, subsection 7, which calls for a national intervention, as is the case in Mangaung. So that bit is very important that we tighten it a bit. But Chairperson, overall, we are happy with the tone of the report. It is very stringent and it continues to pile pressure, obviously, on the executive. And I think it is important that when we look at our relationship with the executive, we must look at it as one that constitutes what I call constructive tension, and not an adversarial one, from neither side, neither from the executive to the legislature, that is ourselves, nor from ourselves as the legislature to the executive. However, we must continue to hold the executive accountable without being adversarial. We must do so in the spirit of the separation of powers, observe the letter and spirit of the law and the Constitution. Thank you very much, Chairperson. I think our content advisor has done very well, and as I said, this captures immensely our views on these particular issues that are ventilated in the report, and we can use it really as an instrument of accountability, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ditebe. Any other view on the report? If not, can I get someone to propose, or may I then ask, it seems the Honorable Reddy has indicated that they will not support this report. Any other party that's not supporting this report, could they indicate? It seems then all other parties support this report. Can I get someone to propose that we accept this report? Honorable Moore?
Chairperson, I propose that we accept the report.
Thank you. Honorable Ditebe?
Chairperson, I second Honorable Moore on the proposal to adopt the report. Thank you.
Honorable Reddy?
Chairperson, I just want to place on record, MK Party will reserve its position, and we will decide when the matter is being debated. Vote for E1. Thank you.
100%. It should be noted that way. Any other party that would like to do the same? Going. Honorable Diale?
Thank you, Chair. May I indicate at this stage that the economic freedom fighters would like to reserve their rights in respect of this. All indication will be made during our debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That will be noted. Then with that, two parties that reserve their rights, this report is then adopted. Thank you very much, Temani, for your hard work and for a very comprehensive report. It's much appreciated. Colleagues, the last item on the agenda, Honorable Diale, can you maybe just put down your hand? Colleagues, the last item now is to elect a chairperson that would deal with that the oversight. Honorable Tlelanga.
No, thank you so much, Chair.
We can't hear you, or I can't hear you. You can continue, Honorable Member.
We cannot hear him, Chair.
Yeah, I can.
Given that we previously had persuaded the committee that we allow him to continue.
Honorable Tlelanga, you are cutting out.
Sir, you don't hear me?
You're cutting out. I can hear you now. You can continue.
Okay, let me be specific network. I therefore move to nominate Honorable Stanley Ramailia.
Honorable Ramayila has been nominated. Honorable Reddy,
I second the nomination, Chair. Thank you.
is there any other nominations? Honorable Moore,
No, Chair, I was rising to second.
Honorable Kobe,
No, Chair, it was just seconding as well. Honorable
okay.
Rafaela would be the perfect chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other nominations? Gone. Honorable Ramayila, do you accept the nomination to chair the oversight or the public participation meetings?
Accepted, Chair. Thank you very much for your confidence.
All right, colleagues, thank you very much. That then concludes the business. Next week, we don't have a meeting. We will just move it on and we will inform on a later stage where that will fit in. Honorable Kobe?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I'd just like to, before the meeting closes, I couldn't make remarks while you were making them about your health, but Chair, I would just like you to know that we are wishing you a speedy recovery. We thank you so much for braving through it and coming to chair this meeting today. You didn't have to, but you did it for us, so thank you for that. We want you to know that even though Honorable Ramayla is going to be taking charge and leading, we will be missing you immensely. We have really grown to grow fond of your guidance and leadership throughout these past 2 years. So please take care, Chair. Your health is your wealth, and we can't wait to see you back. And I know that Honorable Ramayla will represent you well in the meantime. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that kind words, Honorable Kobe, and from myself, Honorable Ramayila. All of the best with the meetings that you will chair. Colleagues, with that said, it is a short meeting that brings us to the end of this meeting, and I now adjourn this meeting. Have a blessed day. Thank you. And
Blessed day and get well, Chair.
Get well, Chair. Bye.
Recording stopped.